So hello friends, I welcome you all in this lecture series on heat transfer practicals, where today we are going to see heat transfer through composite wall. Now before conducting this trial and discussing this practical, I have listed some prerequisites that are you must know before starting the trial. That are what? Modes of heat conduction. You must be clear about what is meant by conduction and other modes of heat transfer also. Then second one is what is meant by thermal conductivity. This is very important concept. Thermal contact resistance and effect of temperature on thermal conductivity. So in short, I will discuss what is these 4 points, but it is expected that you must be clear about this. So first one is the conduction. What is conduction? It is the mode of heat transfer because of direct contact between the molecules. If this is one molecule, this is another molecule, if they are coming in contact with each other, and during that period whatever the energy is transferred, that is nothing but the conduction. This is the broader sense of conduction. That can be also by electron movement also, but in particular in non-metals it happens because of directly molecular contact. Then second one is thermal conductivity. This is the ability of material to conduct the heat. Ability of material to transfer the heat by the mode of conduction. That is nothing but the thermal conductivity. Next is thermal contact resistance. It is what? If there are two plates coming in contact with each other, two surfaces coming in contact with each other, if heat is flowing across them, because of the contact, it offers resistance to the heat transfer. It does not allow heat to transfer because of the air voids, gaps. The resistance is offered in the direction of heat transfer, and that is nothing but the thermal contact resistance. Name itself indicates it is contact resistance. Because of contact, resistance offered to the heat transfer is called as thermal contact resistance. And then effect of temperature on thermal conductivity. This thermal conductivity varies with temperature. So for metals, as the temperature increases, thermal conductivity decreases. This is the theory part which must be clear before starting the experiment. Okay. Now we'll discuss what are the objectives of conducting this trial. There are 3 objectives basically. First one is to determine the thermal conductivity of composite wall. We have to determine thermal conductivity of composite wall. So for that purpose we'll have to make a setup where there will be composite wall. We will discuss this when I will discuss the diagram and the setup. You will understand that what is meant by composite wall. So there will be 3 to 4 plates stacked over each other forming a composite wall. So we have to determine equivalent conductivity of that wall and individual conductivity of the particular plates also. Then effect of thermal contact resistance. So how these, if the 2 plates are mounted over each other, the thermal contact resistance will reduce the conductivity, and what is that effect, that we have to study. Then as we are going to heat the plates, the temperature of the plates will go on increasing, and because of that thermal conductivity will decrease because the plates selected will be metals and non-metals. So accordingly we have to see that how thermal conductivity varies with temperature. We have the standard values for the particular material at 20 degrees Celsius, and we can compare that values with these values, and we'll get the effect of temperature on thermal conductivity. So these are the objectives. Now we'll go for the experimental setup. Now let us see experimental setup for this composite wall. As I have said that composite wall is something which has number of plates mounted over each other. So let us say this is here we have taken the circular plates. Let us say this is a wooden plate. Let us say this is a mild steel plate. This one is a steel plate. Then I have taken bakelite plate, this one, and then there is a wooden plate. So these are the 3 plates stacked over each other. So this is called as composite wall. Now this is one arrangement. Similar symmetric arrangement is done on the upper side. This is the steel, bakelite and then wood. Similarly again steel, bakelite and wood. So symmetric arrangement is done on both sides of the heater. So there is a heater at the top of the plate. So let us say this is a heater. So now this heater will produce some heat, and that heat will be conducted across these plates. So the heat is transferred from this composite wall. Now we have taken the symmetric setup to avoid the errors. Okay. So now this is your setup. They are compressed with some mechanical force. Okay. So that minimum air resistance will be there between these 2 plates. This is the interface between the 2 plates where there will be resistance, and this interface will be minimized by compressing them. Okay, so this will offer you the thermal contact resistance. These interfaces will offer the thermal contact resistance to the direction of heat transfer. The heater is producing the heat, and that heat is conducted across the plates in the both directions. So let us say the heater is producing 80 watt energy, then we are assume that 40 watt will come to this side and 40 watt will come to the downward side. So I have written this Q by 2 means what? Total heat produced by the heater divided by 2 will be conducted to this downward direction, and half of the heat will be conducted to the upward direction. What are the dimensions of these plates? Are 9 mm, 12 mm and again 9 mm. These are the dimensions taken by the manufacturer. Okay, so this is what the setup is. Diameter of these plates is 300 mm. Okay, now in the each interface we have mounted some thermocouples. Let us say that thermocouple number 1 is in between this heater and the steel plate, and thermocouple number 2 is on the other side interface between the heater and the upper side steel plate. So here is the number 1 and number 2. These are the two thermocouples mounted between these two at the center. Here is the 1, here is the 2. Then 3 will be here between steel and bakelite, 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 are between steel and bakelite, and 5 and 6 are between bakelite and wood. So 5 and 6 are the bakelite and wood interface, and 7 and 8 are the wooden outer side. So these outer sides are 7 and 8. So these are the 8 temperatures we are going to record. We are going to record what is the energy we are going to supply with the help of voltmeter and ammeter. So this will be the multiplication of voltage and current will give you the total heat. So that rate of heat transfer will be obtained by this, and that will be conducted to the both side. We will record the temperatures. We have the thickness of each slab, so that we can use the formula for conduction, one dimensional heat conduction, and we can find out the conductivity of this each material. So if you observe, this is a one dimensional heat conduction, because we are assuming that heat is going only along the axis of this particular plates. So this axis of the plate is like this. So we are assuming that it is one dimensional because it is only flowing in this direction, but practically it is going to flow in the all directions. So to reduce this effect of multi-dimensional heat transfer, we will assume only half of the diameter. So we will assume the central core area only. This outer area we will neglect, because that is not single unidirectional flow, that is multi-directional flow. So we will assume that more and more flow will be unidirectional towards center. What is unidirectional? In one direction. But as we go away from the center, the flow will become multi-dimensional. So to avoid this multi-dimensional effect, we will assume only half diameter. That I will explain during the calculations. So this is what the setup is. Now these connections are given to the indicators, temperature indicators. So these 8 temperature indicators will be there on the temperature indicator in the control panel. So what will be the control panel? There is a temperature indicator which will give me the temperatures. Second is your heater switch for heater. There are voltmeter and ammeter. So this is your voltmeter and this is your ammeter, which will give you the current. This is voltage, AMP, voltmeter, ammeter, temperature indicator, main switch for the heater, and then there will be a dimmer stat. Dimmer stat will be used to control the voltage. If I increase this dimmer stat, voltage will increase, and this voltage and current is supplied to the heater. So heater is the heat source which will produce the heat with the help of electrical energy. Temperatures will sense the temperature at each location, and voltage can be controlled with the dimmer stat. So this is your control panel that we will see in the setup also. Now let us see the setup for heat transfer through composite wall. As we have seen in the diagram, this is a composite wall where we can see that there are 3 plates mounted over each other, and at the center there is a heater. There are thermocouples at each interface, and whose temperature reading can be taken from this indicator. So this is a temperature indicator controlled with the switch. This is the heater switch which will switch on the heater. This one is voltmeter and ammeter, and there is a dimmer stat. So while starting the experiment, we'll have to switch on the main switch. So let us switch it on. So after switching on the main switch, the temperature indicator will give us the existing readings. Later we have to switch on the heater between the plates. So once the heater is switched on, we can see the current and voltage. So multiplication of them will give you the wattage. That can be controlled with this dimmer stat. You can set up this voltage by controlling this knob. So you can reduce and increase the voltage. So you can set any value of voltage, preferably set it below 100 volt so that temperature will not go with the excessive range to secure the setup. So I have set up some 90 volt and 0.73 ampere, which multiplication of which will give you the wattage. So after this we have to keep this setup for at least 1.5 hours to get the steady state, and later we'll go for the readings. Okay. Now we'll see observation table required. Here I have written some specifications before the observation table. You can see the diameter of the plates, means this is the diameter, as we have seen that this is, let us say, wooden plate, then there is a bakelite plate, then there is a steel plate. So the diameter is 30 centimeter, that is 0.3 meter, but we are going to take central part only. So in calculations we will take the diameter as 0.15 meter. To avoid the multi-dimensional flow, to assume it as to make it unidirectional, one-dimensional flow, we will assume the central core flow only. So diameter will be taken as 0.15 meter. Then thickness of steel plate I have called as L1, that is 9 mm. Then thickness of bakelite plate as L2, 12 mm. Again wood plate 9 mm. Voltage we are going to record. We have already set up before starting the trial, current and voltage. And after steady state, we are going to take these 8 temperature readings. As we have seen in the setup that the location of these 8 temperatures are at the each interface. So we are going to take the readings for these 8 temperatures. So let us go to the setup now and take these readings. Okay, and then we'll go for the calculations. Now let us take the readings for this. I expect that you have observation table in your notebook. So when I will dictate these readings, you just have to note down the temperatures and voltage and current values. Okay, so take your pen and page where you have drawn the observation table and note down these readings. So the reading number 1 is for, before that we have to take the voltage reading. So note down the voltage as 81 volt and current as 0.65 ampere. Voltage as 81 volt and current as 0.65 ampere. Now we have allowed this setup for at least 1 hour before taking the readings. So it is almost at steady state. What is meant by steady state? The temperature does not vary with respect to time, and you can observe that the temperature is almost constant. Okay, so we will take the readings. So let us take T1. Note down the T1 as 87.7. Then second one is 77.2, other side of the plate. Then 66.5. Then 63.8. Then 56.1. Then 52.6. Then 44.4 and final 44.7. The outermost lowest temperature is this, and that is how we have taken the 8 temperature readings. Okay, so with this help of these 8 temperature readings, we will go for the calculations now. Now let us go for the calculations. I expect that you must have these readings at your notebook. We have noted this voltage, current and these 8 temperature readings. We have taken these readings after the steady state. Okay, now while calculating the equivalent conductivity, we just have to convert this setup into equivalent system, where we have taken the symmetric arrangement. There is a heater. To the heater both sides there is a steel plate, then there is a bakelite plate, then there are wooden plates. So we have converted this system into equivalent system like this. So there is a heater, Then there is a steel plate. This L1 is for steel plate. Second, there is bakelite, so L2 is for bakelite. And third one is wooden, so L3 is for wooden. And the temperature at each interface is named as TA, TB, TC and TD. So how to find these temperatures? We know what is TA. It is the temperature between heater and steel. So where is the temperature between heater and steel? Heater and steel. This is T1 and T2. So there are two available temperatures. So we will take average of them. So average of them T1 and T2 by 2, T1 plus T2 by 2, that is TA. So this is the average temperature between heater and wooden plate, heater and steel plate. Similarly, we will take TB. TB is what? Steel and bakelite. So steel and bakelite, steel and bakelite. This is T3, steel and bakelite. This is T4. So T3 plus T4 by 2. T3 plus T4 by 2 gives you the TB. So this is the equivalent temperature or the average temperature between steel and bakelite. Similarly, TC and TD are obtained like T5 plus T7 by 2 and T7 plus T8 by 2. So this is TA, TB, TC and TD. So these are the four temperatures available at each section now. Now we will apply the conduction equation, one dimensional heat conduction equation that equates, I hope you have written this. Once you have written this, I'll go. So I'll rub this now. So now this is one dimensional heat conduction equation modified for the slab, one dimensional heat conduction equation in Cartesian coordinate system. So where we can see that this is the heat transfer rate through that particular slab, this is the delta T temperature difference across the slab, thickness of the slab, the length of the particular dimension particularly in the direction of heat flow, conductivity of that material and cross section area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. Okay, so if I want to use this equation for this complete slab, so how I will modify this? I will find out the Q. What is the Q? It is Q by 2. So this one is the Q by 2. Delta T is what? Across the slab, entire conductivity. If I want to find out equivalent conductivity of the composite wall, complete delta T has to be taken. So it will be TA minus TD. So if I modify this, let us say this is Q by 2. Delta T is what? From start to end, that is TA minus TD divided by L. What will be L? Length, thickness of the slab, that is L1 plus L2 plus L3. 9 plus 12 plus 9. So it will be 30 centimeter or 30 mm. So it is that L, 30 mm you can say, or total L, equivalent length, total length upon conductivity that we want to find out, equivalent conductivity of the slab that we want to find out, into cross section area. So that cross section area we have already computed here. You can observe pi by 4 d square, where d has taken as 0.15 meter square because central area has to be taken only. So that is cross section area is known to us. This is known to us. Length equivalent is 30 mm. Convert it into meter, that is 0.03 meter. TA is known 82.45. TD is known 44.45. Put these values. Q by 2 is known to us. Q is 52.65. So if I put these values, 52.65 divided by 2 equal to TA is 82.45 minus 44.45 divided by L equivalent is how much? 0.03 meter, and if this will go to the upper side, so that is K equivalent into cross section area is 0.01767. So if I simplify this, you will get K equivalent as, I have already calculated this value and I have written here, that is 1.1768. After calculations you will get this value, watt per meter Kelvin. That was the objective of today's trial, to determine the equivalent thermal conductivity of the composite wall. And now this is your result. Okay, now we'll go for the conclusion. We'll recall the objectives of today's session. What were the objectives? There were 3 objectives that we'll discuss now. That is conclusion. The first objective was to determine the conductivity of, equivalent conductivity of the slab. That is how much? K equivalent is 1.1768 watt per meter Kelvin. And the second is studying the effect of thermal contact resistance. So you can observe that conductivity of the steel at 20 degrees Celsius is in the range of 45 watt per meter Kelvin. Steel is in the range of 45 watt per meter Kelvin. Okay, bakelite is in the range of, I don't recall exactly, but it is around 19 watt per meter Kelvin. And your last one is wooden, so it is less than 1 watt per meter Kelvin. So it is insulating material, very less thermal conductivity. You observe that we have 45 watt per meter Kelvin conductivity material. We have 1 watt per meter Kelvin conductivity material, but the equivalent is less. It is around more than 2 to 3 actually. So equivalent conductivity is much less than this, and this is because of the thermal contact resistance. The contact resistance offered by the plate is very high, air gaps are high, because we cannot compress them. There is a surface roughness issue, so because of that there is lot of loss of energy, multi-dimensional flow is there. So these are the reasons because of which the heat is not penetrating into the slabs, and due to which the equivalent conductivity is much less than the actual values of conductivity of the steel. This is because of thermal contact resistance. This is the first conclusion. Second thing, we have discussed that effect of temperature. If you notice that temperature of the steel is around in the range of 70. If you have take the average temperature of the steel, it is in the range of 70, and this value is taken at 20 degrees Celsius. So you observe that when temperature rises from 20 degree to 70 degree, your thermal conductivity decreases. This is the second conclusion we have studied from this trial, that thermal conductivity decreases for metals as the temperature increases. Okay, so this is, and one more thing you can do is that you can plot its temperature profile across the wall. If you take the graph paper, plot the thickness of the slabs on the x-axis, let us say 9 mm, 12 mm and again 9 mm, and record the T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6 and T7, T8. You will get some temperature profile across this. So temperature versus slab thickness, you can see the temperature goes on decreasing as heat transfer takes place, because the heat source will have the higher temperature, to the other side temperature will be lower. So this is the temperature profile. Yes, we can get the mathematical expression for this also. We have that in theory also. So I hope it is clear to you. This is how we have completed our this trial on heat transfer through composite wall. Thank you very much.